It isn't out in a product that resonates with the players. That's the unfortunate part. But certainly, we've been exploring it for a while between our 3 or 4 properties to have some kind of wide area, a larger jackpot to see some marketing. But no, I don't think casinos will shy away from it as long as that product is a good performing product. We'll look at it like everything else.
It would seem that would be an incredible draw, especially with the Asian players liking the volatility like that. If you can have a huge jackpot.
The problem with large jackpots is because of the regularity of the players. You might get a player who comes once a month. I mean, our regulars will come probably once a week.
Okay.
But if you're coming here once every 1 month or 2 months, you really want a jackpot that's attainable. If you come every 2 months and 3 years down the track, a jackpot still hasn't gone off, it starts to be unattainable. I'm the great believer that even my top awards will go off 30 to 40 to 60 days. I mean, they'll be going off pretty much regularly. 45 days is my average jackpot, even that's $10 to $15 million.
Sure.
So the regular players or the players that come in know that they've got a chance of winning. They know that it climbs fast and it goes off. So I'm not a big lover in, a couple of $100 million jackpots if they're never going to go off for 4 or 5 years, because the players just look and they think, yeah, it's not going to go off, I've got no chance. Okay. Whereas they see $1 million going off every 2 weeks, they go, hey, I've got a good chance, I'll play that and take that.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, I just want to wrap it up with one question at the end. Where do we think slots are going in Asia? Certainly in Macau and then in Asia in general. Start with you, Ken.
I mean, a good slot is a slot that obviously has earning potential for an operator and keeps the players excited. And you look at how do you make a great slot? It comes back to something that was mentioned earlier, the maths. Getting the maths right for Asia is probably the most important thing. You look at, we talked about a product called Do Fu Do Chai. That's probably one of the most complex pieces of maths that I've ever seen in my 35 years in the business. And the thing just works, and it works everywhere. We built that thing for the Macau market, for the volatility of the Macau market. But it seems so good. We're taking it around the world. We've put it in the United States now, and it's gone to the top. We're taking it to Europe now. We're going to take it to South Africa. It's just so good. So I guess from all manufacturers, we're just going to keep trying to make great games.
Okay. Savvy?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It does come down to making sure that the content that you produce is specifically tailored for each individual market. The piece that, as I mentioned earlier, the piece that we've been concentrating on for the last 18 months, 2 years is really what's coming to fruition now. The other key element is making sure that not only the content, but the demographic of the individual is totally understood, because we have a totally different demographic of individual with the high rollers, low rollers, mass markets and everything else that we try and tailor. And then the whole subject around today around ETGs, one of the challenges that we have as manufacturers is how do you get an ETG to try and play either slot content or even slot content to be played with the ETGs, and try and find some sort of way in the future of trying to build a tighter link between the two. And I think that's probably something that's on everybody's radar at the moment.
Okay. Peter?
I see the slot market going, quite extensive in Macau in the next 2 to 3 years. The property and the product that's going to be offered in the next 5 years is going to double on the Cotai itself. There's 7 new resorts going to be open.
Right.
Also, the new regulations forces Macau to purchase or replace about 6,000 machines out there on the floor. Hopefully in that 6,000, there'll be some good product. Do Fu Do Chai has sort of performed 10 to 20 times my good machine average.
Sure.
And it's made the other vendors look and go, hey, wow, they've come from zero to hero with product. Everybody else has a good chance now to get innovative, put something new and put something bright and refreshing on the floor. So I think the next 2 to 3 years there'll be some good product. I see it on the show yesterday that other vendors who are sitting there latently have now started to look and take notice and perform in that segment. It's really good to see that the sort of hardline people have stayed in the industry and tried to perform. There's been some vendors that pulled out of Macau and didn't compete and now trying to get back in. But the market share of vendors has shifted 360 degrees in the last 2 years of what's what I'd pick for a new casino now.
So are you expecting to have more floor space as they really spread out the table games when your new property opens?
Because of October 6th this year, all mass floors will be non-smoking.
Yeah.
It's very interesting how much floor space I'll probably get back.
Right.
At the moment, like I say, we go on net revenue per square meter. We do get pushed out. Even my machines make me making $2,000 US a day, but I need to push them aside for tables product in that spot. The mass floors will open up, and the smoking will change the market completely again. We saw it change in the last 18 months. I think in the next 12 months, the dynamics of what a floor will look like is going to change, and that will change the market. So it will be interesting the next 18 months with the smoking and the new regulations in slot machines to see what hits the floor.
And Takahiro?
Well, thank you for inviting us to talk about this session, and thank you for everybody to keep listening to this session. Generally speaking, that Asia, the gaming is booming. Macau, strong, Singapore and the Philippines ongoing, and Taiwan, Japan, Korea, especially Asia regions for this casino industry, the business significantly increase if we're looking at the 5 to 10 years ahead. And supplier side, we have another challenges for EGM and ETG. Now this session talk about ETG and EGM. Let's say if we create something new, if it's not categorized under EGM or non-ETG, like something new that we need to provide for the good offering to the players eventually. It's not traditional sick ball, it's not traditional roulette, something different new. But if it's not under the categorized, this is another new challenge coming soon. It's not related to Macau or Singapore, but this is kind of the manufacturer challenge that we need to achieve, and we need to break the wall and go the next level of the entertainment offering.
Great. Well, thank you all. I really enjoyed this. I hope everybody else did as well. Before we head off to lunch, we have a little change in the program today at the session.